it's that time again. End of the road news, part 66666. Anyway, it's the aftermath section, and we're the day after Easter, and we're going to close out with some interesting tidbits. You know, the theme was dark to light, and I can't think of a lighter day than today because the Pope is dead. And that's a good story. Yeah, the Pope died. Some people say he's been dead since February, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know. But, you know, what timing, really? Anyways, moving forward, I hear that everyone's talking about him and all this other dumb shit. So many things. People are talking about, they're probably going to be talking about the Pope for the next week and how special he touched everyone, like little girls and boys of the Catholic Church. And, you know, I heard that he actually changed the Catholic Church. I hear that he made it way more acceptable to follow pedophile Jesus. So, anyways, that's kind of happening there. Some other people died. But Klaus Schwab of the West, he's resigning, and that's good news, too. So lots of changes. I mean, he's been resigning for a long time. He keeps telling us he's resigning, and that's what's really the theme with the news. So I don't really cover news pretty much at all anymore, is because it's a repeat, it's a rerun episode, and nothing ever changes. Speaking of nothing ever changes, my lawyers still have not filed the motions or motion that I wanted them to, and I mean, this is fucking ridiculous. My trial is in 3 weeks, and my lawyers are still battling. Yeah. So, I was supposed to, you know, revise something today, but I haven't even gotten it yet, so I'm kind of, you know, crossing my fingers and hoping to poke out that I actually get that done. But, you know, the judge is even a bit bent. He's asking for what the hell's going on with these motions, and you see that reflected in the docket, if you want that. But one of the things I'm kind of upset about the most is the lack of attention this case is actually getting, considering I've released all pertaining footage to the media and everything like that, and people still don't want to cover it. The January 6th support network still don't want to cover it. Pretty much no one wants to cover it. I've got actually some feedback. Someone said, well, you're not the only J6er left. I said, actually, I am the only J6 case still left. And everyone has conceded that. But some people are like, well, J6ers are still facing trials and whatever. And I'm like, yeah. But somehow my name is not ever being brought up. And what it is, it's just sidelined with a bunch of other people that aren't in January 6 cases. None of these cases are January 6 cases. That's for damn sure. Not a single one, except for these appeals, these cases that are caught up in appeals. Which case the DOJ has said, no, we're not going to actively prosecute. So I am the only January 6th case left that's still actively being prosecuted. That's still true. Someone said, well, I have a minor correction. You know, your former roommate, Edward Kelly, he is being sued by the DOJ still, or being charged by the DOJ. But it's the District of Tennessee, and it's a different case. It's not. So, I mean, let's not mince shit here. I pretty much said what I said. I'm just going to accept the credit of the correction that Edward Kelly is actually being prosecuted by the DOJ. But it's not for a January 6th case, just FYI. Let's just get that right. So now that we got that right, maybe someone will say, hey, there's a political prisoner, like all that shit that you heard. But no one's saying that either. No one's saying anything of that nature. No one's saying, hey, let's donate money to Taylor. You know, I know because I check every couple days to make sure that I have enough money to make phone calls to my loved ones. And that money pile that they threw at me is dwindling down. My reserves have made huge cuts, and it's taking a toll on my life, including my health. So let's say, Levy, that's what I got to do to kind of make sure that I have enough money to fix my van that the FBI destroyed. And when I get out, if I get out, I'm gonna win this case. But no one cares. No one really cares. And I just think it's absurd that people are just like, you know, some people are like, well, I've looked into this case, and he said some dumb things, and it's like, you know, I've heard the opposite. I've heard some people say, what you said was brilliant. And so, take it for whatever it's worth. Mixed criticisms, mixed reviews, and, it's crazy that you haven't heard the same. It's crazy that you're still hearing dumb shit by the mainstream media and nothing else. What I've dumped on this show is pretty fascinating, to say the least. How many people's lawyers actually say I'm going to kill you if you don't sign a plea deal? First off, that's illegal, and that's quite the story. That's quite the story in contrast to what you've been hearing about other January 6ers that are now home with loved ones, not facing any charges. So when we look at some of these other cases, they're like, well, this former January 6er, and we should call them that. We should call them former January 6ers, because that really solidifies that I'm the only real January 6er, and that is quite the claim. I didn't come up with that title. Jake Lang did, and then stopped doing that once he started receiving questions as to why is he being called, Taylor being called the only real January 6er by Jake Lang. And, it's pretty obvious now that I'm the only real January 6th case left, and I'm the only political prisoner. You say political prisoner, so these are criminal charges, these are not political charges. Well, when your politics line up with the First Amendment so much, and everything you did, including the charges for January 6th, were First Amendment free press related charges, because I was in there getting stories, especially the one about Ashley Babbitt being an FBI agent and never getting shot. Big story, right? But why is the AG, why is the AG, and why is the IG lying about some of this stuff? Why are they not telling you what's going on? Why are they making it seem like I just disappeared and everything is logically flowing the way it ought to be? The AG has stepped up and said there will be arrests on certain times and days, and that's never happened. So it's not really going the way she wants it.
You have 1 minute remaining.
So we got to look at these things and remain critical and say, hey, what's going on? Why is Taylor the only January 6th case left? Why is his lawyer, who was a January 6th lawyer that got lots of work done for other January 6ers, being still prosecuted by a J6 defense attorney, Ed Martin? And why is Taylor's lawyer not filing things ever when he asks, and they're looking for escape routes to not file, like saying, well, we're going to drop this charge. And then my lawyer says, well, I was going to file a supplemental motion to that charge, and then they drop the charge, and now she feels that she isn't happy, and I said, oh no, I want you to file it. I still want you to file the motion. Why is the judge coming down on her, and why is she threatening to kill me if I don't sign a plea deal? So these are some of the questions we should be looking at, and certainly be, doubting everything they ever told us about January 6th. As far as these charges, I never said I had a bomb in my van. I never said I had a death.
Thank you for using Global Tel Link.